My fiancée said you either accept me as I am or don't. After I confronted her about her lies, I said option 2 and took the ring back. She spent the next hour trying to explain what she'd really meant to say. I 31 male was reviewing wedding vendor contracts when my whole world tilted. My fiancée Vanessa 29 and I were supposed to get married in 3 months. Been together 5 years, engaged for 1. I'd noticed some weird charges on our wedding planning spreadsheet. We kept separate finances but had a shared document to track wedding expenses. There was a $0, $5,100 venue decoration charge that seemed high. Hey babe. I called out to the living room. What's this decoration charge? Thought we agreed on the $500 package. Oh, I upgraded us. She said, not even looking away from her phone. The basic package looked cheap. I walked into the living room. That's $700 over budget. We discussed this. She shrugged. It's our wedding, Derek. Don't be stingy. That's when I noticed her nails. Full set. Fresh design. Did you get your nails done again? You just went last week. So that's another $80 we didn't budget for. And isn't your bachelorette party supposed to be low-key? Your sister mentioned something about a weekend trip now. She finally looked up, annoyed. God, why are you being such an accountant about everything? Because I literally am an accountant and we agreed to save for a house down payment after the wedding. Plans change. My friends want to do something nice for me. I pulled up her Instagram. Her story from earlier showed shopping bags from Nordstrom. Vanessa, how much did you spend today? Why are you stalking my Instagram? It's not stalking when you post it publicly. How much? I don't know. Like $400. I needed outfits for the honeymoon. We haven't even booked the honeymoon yet. That's when she stood up, hands on her hips. You know what? You either accept me as I am or don't. I'm not changing who I am for you. The words hung in the air. 5 years together, and this was her response to basic financial concern. Option 2. I said quietly. What? I walked to our bedroom, opened the safe and took out the ring box. She'd taken it off for her nail appointment and hadn't put it back on yet. Common occurrence lately. What are you doing? Her voice had changed. Less defiant, more worried. You said accept you or don't. I choose don't. I pocketed the ring box. Her face went pale. Derek, I didn't mean you're not serious. Dead serious. Over shopping. You're ending our engagement over a few purchases. No. Over the lies. The venue upgrade you didn't discuss. The secret shopping sprees. The bachelorette party that went from dinner to a weekend trip. The complete dismissal of our agreed budget. I meant she was scrambling now. What I really meant was we should compromise. I didn't mean accept everything. Just, you know. No. I don't know. Explain what you really meant. She spent the next hour trying. The story changed every 5 minutes. She meant accept her personality, not her actions. She meant accept her need for nice things sometimes. She meant don't be controlling about money. She meant relationships require flexibility. Each explanation contradicted the last. The woman who 5 minutes ago was standing her ground was now frantically backpedaling. Derek, please. The wedding is in 3 months. Everything's booked. What will people think? That's what you're worried about. What people will think. No. I mean, I love you. This is just cold feet. All couples fight about money before the wedding. This isn't about money, Vanessa. It's about honesty, trust, partnership. You unilaterally decided to blow our budget and told me to accept it or leave. I didn't mean leave. God, why are you taking it so literally? I pulled out my phone and started texting. Who are you texting? She asked. Panic rising. My brother. Seeing if I can crash at his place tonight. You're leaving. Derek, stop. Let's talk about this. I'll return the clothes. I'll downgrade the venue. Will you though, or will you just hide it better next time? She started crying then. Big dramatic tears. 5 years. You're throwing away 5 years. No. You threw it away when you decided our agreements meant nothing. I packed a bag while she followed me around, alternating between apologies, accusations, and bargaining. You're overreacting. I'm sorry. I'll do better. This is emotional abuse. Please don't leave me. You'll regret this. I'll go to therapy. As I headed for the door, she played her final card. Fine. Leave, but you're still paying for half the wedding. All those deposits are non-refundable. I turned around. Actually, I put all the deposits on my credit card since you were too busy to handle it. The contracts are in my name. I'll be canceling everything tomorrow. The look of shock on her face was honestly satisfying. You can't. My parents already invited everyone. Then they can uninvite them. I left with her screaming about lawsuits and emotional damage. My phone blew up before I even reached my car. Her mom, her sister, her best friend, all blocked for now. The engagement ring in my pocket felt heavier than it should. 2 carats, $8,000 bought when I still believed we were a team. Now it's just an expensive lesson in paying attention to red flags. My brother Alex didn't even ask questions when I showed up. Just handed me a beer and said guest room's ready. Tomorrow I start canceling wedding plans. Tonight I'm just processing the fact that my fiancée really thought she could ultimatum her way through life. The real revenge isn't dramatic. It's just leaving. Taking her at her word. She said accept or don't. I didn't. Update 1. 1 week later. The entitlement escalation has been off the charts. I genuinely thought Vanessa would take a few days to cool off and then we'd have an adult conversation about splitting wedding deposits. Nope. She went full nuclear. Day 1. After I took a personal day and started canceling everything: the venue, the caterer, the photographer, the DJ. Most were understanding when I explained the wedding was off. Some deposits were non-refundable, but I recovered about 70% of the money. The photographer was the real MVP. When I explained the situation, he said, "Dude, I shot a wedding last year where the bride was texting another guy during the reception. Get out now." He refunded everything except his initial booking fee. By noon, Vanessa had figured out what I was doing. How the venue called her to confirm the cancellation since she was listed as the bride. She lost it. 47 missed calls, 112 texts. Here's a sampler. Stop canceling everything. You're ruining my life. My mom already bought her dress. This is financial abuse. I'll sue you for intentional infliction of emotional distress. That last one made me laugh. Sue me for canceling my own contracts. Day 2. Her mom Deb showed up at my workplace. Security had to escort her out. She'd marched into our office demanding to speak to me about destroying her daughter's future. When reception called me, I told them I wasn't available. Deb started yelling about how I was probably cheating and looking for an excuse to abandon Vanessa. My boss Steven happened to be in the lobby. He told Deb she needed to leave or he'd call the police. She left, but not before telling everyone in earshot that I was a pathetic excuse for a man who couldn't handle a strong woman. Strong woman is lying about money apparently. Day 3. Vanessa started posting. Oh boy. Did she post Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the works? Her version of events I'm financially controlling. I freaked out over her buying a few nice things for our wedding. I abandoned her 3 months before the wedding. I am keeping the ring which legally belongs to her. That last part was interesting. Legally, an engagement ring is a conditional gift in our state. Condition equals marriage. No marriage ring returns to buyer. I knew this because I'm an accountant who researches major purchases. Her friends piled on. Comments about toxic masculinity, financial abuse, small dick energy, classy, and how Vanessa dodged a bullet. Then something interesting happened. My ex-coworker Shannon, who follows Vanessa, sent me screenshots of Vanessa's stories from the past 6 months. Designer hauls, expensive dinners, spa days, all while telling me she was being frugal for the wedding. Day 4. This is where it gets wild. Vanessa posted on her Instagram. Sometimes the universe removes people to make room for better things. Excited for new beginnings. Attached was a photo of her with some dude. Brendan apparently sitting real close at a wine bar. My buddy Craig texts me, "Bro, isn't that the guy from her gym?" Turns out Brendan was her personal trainer, the one she'd been seeing twice a week for wedding body prep. The one she insisted was totally professional when I asked why she needed individual sessions instead of group classes. Day 5 I went to our apartment leasing both our names unfortunately to get more of my stuff. Found Brendan there on my couch eating my food watching my Netflix. Oh, I said. This is happening fast. Vanessa jumped up. Derek, you can't just show up. I could have you arrested. For entering my own apartment. Good luck with that. Brendan stood up trying to look intimidating. Dude was built. I'll give him that. Hey man. No need for drama. No drama. Just getting my stuff. Though you might want to ask Vanessa about her spending habits before you get too comfortable. Vanessa, get out. This is harassment. I grabbed my gaming console, some clothes, and my grandfather's record collection. As I was leaving, I couldn't resist. Hey Brendan. Just FYI. She spent $400 on clothes last week while crying about wedding expenses. Might want to keep your credit cards locked up. Day 6. Got a letter from a lawyer. Not a good lawyer, mind you. The kind that has ads on bus benches. Demanding 1. The engagement ring be returned to Vanessa. 2. Compensation for wedding-related emotional distress. 3. I pay for half the non-refundable deposits. 4. 3 months of rent while Vanessa transitions. My response was simple. I hired my own lawyer, a real one. A response to their demands was beautiful. Ring stays with purchaser per state law. No grounds for emotional distress. Deposits were paid by my client alone. Lease termination will proceed per standard terms. Day 7. Vanessa's dad, Robert, all first time he'd reached out directly. He's always been the reasonable one. Derek, can we talk man to man? Sure, Robert. I know Vanessa can be impulsive, but throwing away 5 years. The wedding. Robert, did she tell you why we split? Something about a fight over money. I explained everything. The lies, the secret spending, the ultimatum. The silence on his end spoke volumes. Finally, that doesn't sound like the full story she told us. I'm sure it doesn't. The ring, she says you're keeping it illegally. Legally it's mine. Morally too, considering she's already moved her personal trainer into our apartment. Her what? Apparently Vanessa forgot to mention Brendan in her victim narrative to Daddy. The call ended with Robert saying he needed to reassess some things. Current situation. Wedding officially cancelled. Recovered about $6 of the $8K in deposits. Vanessa still living in our apartment with Brendan. Lease is up in 2 months, already told landlord I'm not renewing. Lawyer is handling all communication. Ring is safely in a bank deposit box. I'm still at Alex's apartment hunting. The best part? Vanessa's own social media is destroying her narrative. Hard to claim I abandoned her when she's posting couple selfies with Brendan within a week. Hard to claim financial abuse when her stories show shopping sprees. My favorite comment on her posts from one of her cousins, didn't you just get engaged? I'm confused. She's deleted a lot of posts since then. Tomorrow I'm viewing apartments. Next week we figure out how to handle our joint lease. Brendan makes good money as a trainer. Right. He can cover her half. The entitlement to think she could spend whatever, lie about it, ultimatum me when caught, then immediately move in another dude while demanding I still pay for everything. It's almost impressive. We'll update when the lease situation resolves. Something tells me it's gonna be messy. Final update: 2 months later, the lease situation was indeed messy, but the karma was absolutely chef's kiss. So a month after my last update, it was time to deal with the apartment. Both our names were on the lease with joint liability. I'd already told the landlord I wouldn't be renewing, but Vanessa had other plans. She tried to remove me from the lease and add Brendan. Problem. I needed to agree to that, which I obviously didn't. Her next move, claiming I'd abandoned the apartment and she should have sole rights to renewal. The landlord, Gary, called me. Derek, she's saying you moved out and left her with all the bills. Gary, I have texts where she told me to leave. Also, has she mentioned her new boyfriend living there? The trainer guy. Yeah. I've seen him around. That's a lease violation, right? Unauthorized occupant. Gary got real quiet. Then I'll need to review the situation. Gary scheduled a routine inspection. Vanessa couldn't refuse. It's in the lease terms. What he found, Brendan had basically moved in. Closed toiletries, gaming setup in living room. They'd repainted the bedroom without permission. Lease violation. Damage to the bathroom door. Looked like someone punched it. Unauthorized pet. Brendan's dog apparently. Vanessa got a formal warning. Fix the violations or face eviction. Brendan had to officially move out, dog included. Here's where Vanessa's plan started falling apart. She applied to renew the lease solo. Gary ran her credit and income verification. Turns out Vanessa's part-time social media consulting business wasn't as lucrative as she pretended. She made maybe $2,000 a month. Rent was $1,800. Gary required income of 3x rent to qualify solo. She needed a cosigner. Guess who she asked? Yep. Me. The text, Derek, I know things ended badly, but we both love this apartment. Can you please co-sign the renewal? I'll pay everything. Just need your signature. My response, no. Her response, you're really gonna make me homeless out of spite? Me, I'm not making you anything. You chose this. Vanessa's solution. Get Brendan to co-sign. Problem. Brendan's credit was trash, like 520 credit score trash. Turns out Mr. Muscles had a history of unpaid debts and a car repo. Even better, when Vanessa found out she lost it on social media, posted a story ranting about men who pretend to have their life together. It was deleted within hours, but not before multiple people screenshot it. Brendan responded by moving out. Just packed his stuff and left while she was at work. Blocked her on everything. With nowhere else to turn, Vanessa went to her parents. Remember Robert, her dad, who called me asking for the real story? Well, he'd done some digging. Found out Vanessa had been lying about wedding expenses to get more money from them. She'd taken out a credit card in her mom's name for emergencies and maxed it out. The 3-color they gave her for wedding dress shopping spent on regular clothes and bags. So when she asked them to co-sign, they said no. Actually, they did more than that. They demanded she move back home to get her life together. I came to get my last items 2 days before lease end. Vanessa was there with boxes everywhere, on the phone with someone crying. No. I can't afford first and last month plus deposit. I don't have 5 to 400. Can't you waive something? She saw me and hung up. Happy now. I have to move back with my parents at 29 because of you. Because of me, or because you burned through every safety net with lies and overspending? I had everything planned. The apartment, the wedding, my life, you ruined it all. Vanessa, I paid 70% of our bills while you spent on yourself. I gave you a ring worth $8,000. I was marrying you despite the financial red flags. All I asked was honesty about money. It was just shopping. It was never about the shopping. It was about the lies, the ultimatum, the complete disrespect. She tried one more manipulation. If you ever loved me, you'd help me. Just co-sign a small studio. I'll pay you back everything. The answer's no, Vanessa. Good luck. As I was leaving, her mom, Deb, arrived to help pack. The same woman who'd stormed my office calling me pathetic. She looked exhausted. Derek, she said quietly. I owe you an apology. We didn't know the extent of things. I just nodded. The credit card she took out in my name, $8,000 limit. Maxed out, I'm filing fraud charges if she doesn't pay it back. Even Vanessa's own mother was done with her crap. It's been 2 months since the lease ended. Here's the current situation. Vanessa living with her parents, working retail because her social media consulting couldn't pay bills, posts inspirational quotes about rising from ashes and new chapters. Still owes her mom $8,000. Still single after Brendan ghosted. Brendan, according to mutual gym friends, he's telling everyone Vanessa was crazy and he dodged a bullet. Started dating another client, that poor girl. The ring, sold it for $6,000, took a loss but worth it, used the money for a deposit on my new apartment. Me got a nice 1-bedroom downtown, closer to work, modern amenities, and $400 cheaper than the old place. Been dating casually. Nothing serious yet. Amazing what having money does when you're not subsidizing someone else's lifestyle. Last week got one final text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Vanessa using someone else's phone. I know you hate me, but I'm desperate. Can I borrow $1,000? I'll pay you back, please. I didn't respond, but I did screenshot it and send it to my brother with the caption. Remember when she said accept me as I am or don't? Lessons learned. 1. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. 2. Financial incompatibility is a real relationship killer. 3. Ultimatums rarely work out how people expect. 4. Always get receipts. 5. Never put someone on your lease who can't qualify a loan. The thing that still gets me, she had everything. A man willing to marry her despite the red flags, an apartment she couldn't afford alone, parents willing to help with a wedding, and she destroyed it all because she couldn't stop lying about money. The entitlement to think she deserved my co-signature after everything, to think her actions wouldn't have consequences. Mind-blowing, but you know what? I'm grateful. Grateful. She showed me who she really was before we got married. Grateful. She gave that ultimatum. Grateful. I had the spine to choose. Don't my apartment smaller, but it's mine. My bank account's growing instead of mysteriously shrinking, and I can buy things without someone gaslighting me about being controlling. Oh, and Vanessa, if you're reading this from your childhood bedroom, you were right. I didn't accept you as you were because what you were was a liar who thought she could ultimatum her way through life. Enjoy retail. I hear they have great employee discounts. Maybe can finally budget properly.